Hello boys, before starting I wanted to ask you to watch this video until the end, and if they like to leave it like and share the video, that helps a lot in channel disclosure. In the kingdom of heaven all was well until people began to multiply on earth. And it all begins when an angel sees the beauty of the women of the earth, meets with other angels and reveals his desire to have sex with these women. This angel was called Samael, the keeper of all knowledge. After the meeting of the angels, Samael is accompanied by 18 more angels. Each of the 18 led another 10 angels. Afraid of punishment for his acts, Samael proposed to the angels a pact that they could not turn back. And at Mount Hermon he gathered the angels together and swore. Then nearly 200 angels took the women of the earth for themselves and impregnated them. The result of mixing the angelic races with those of humans was totally unexpected. The women generated strange children, gigantic beings, bizarre and with genetic anomalies. These beings were the so-called Nephilim, half man, half angel. The Nephilim were many feet high and had an insatiable appetite. They ate all around and colossal quantities of food, ending up with the provisions of men. Then, when the food was over, they began to eat the animals, birds, reptiles and fish. One after another, nothing was enough. They devoured everything, and when the food was over the giants began to eat the men. But that was the least of the problems. Because of having sex with women, the angels passed knowledge forbidden the creatures of the earth. In a short time men will learn astrology and metallurgy, the confection of the science of plants, astronomy and even witchcraft. With this, wickedness increased, disrespect was multiplied, and all became corrupted. Such knowledge caused many wars, and man was one step away from the end. After hearing the cry of human beings and observing all the miseries caused by the rebellious angels, the powerful and faithful archangels, Gabriel, Uriel and Raphael told the Lord of the worlds the problem. The angels told in detail all the crimes committed, the insults, the most abominable spells, ending with the generation of giant children who stained the earth with innocent blood. Then the Lord God decides to purify the earth and sends a great flood to punish the evil angels, throwing them all into the abyss of fire. The story of fallen angels is one of the events that appear in almost all civilizations of antiquity. It is part of Hindu, Jewish, Sumerian mythology and others. But, according to the anthropologists, the flood is reported in several different peoples and cultures of the planet. There are fountains in America, in Asia, in Egypt, very similar to the episode of the Bible. For example, for the Incas, god Huayracocha would have sent a flood to finish with a race of giants and after that repopulate the land. To the Mayan people, gods created the earth, but men became arrogant. Then, dissatisfied, they sent a flood to exterminate with the race, and nobody was spared. The deluge of Sumer, Gilgamesh in his wanderings in search of immortality, finds himself two immortal beings in whom they tell him the story of the flood, which had been commanded by the gods to exterminate with disobedient humanity. In the Greek flood god Poseidon, at the behest of God, resolves to flood the earth and end the humanity that accepted the fire of Prometheus on Mount Olympus. At last, the only consensus in these stories is that those who inhabited the planet did not obey the gods, and it took a world-class event to end it all, destroying all humanity. Another important point was that such giants were not ordinary humans, and to kill it was necessary to destroy the whole humanity. Concluding, then, not that they were ordinary rebels. For the conversation to become more interesting, the researcher and specialist in cuneiform writing, who devoted his entire life to the translation of the tablets of Sumer, brings another curious element. On the boards is written the saga of alien beings from a planet called NIBIRU. These beings came in search of a mineral, possibly gold. These beings were called Anunaki. Great geneticists had to create the race of beings who worked for them in mining, but they must be better men. For this they mixed their own DNA with the DNA of the simian that inhabited the planet at this time. Thus, according to the translation of the tablets of Sumer, they are the fruit of the crossing of some Anunaki with the human women, so that we return to the episode of the fallen angels of the Book of Enoch. And now, boys, with so many elements, information, in which of the theories do you believe? Make sure you enjoy this video, lots of sharing on social networks, and sign up for the channel. A hug and see you next.